Okay, now, one of the things that also just happened, man, is Jay-Z did an interview,
Yeah.
which went crazy, man, and he had a couple big topics during this interview. And one of the main things that came out was he was like, I don't know if there's a place in hip hop for battling anymore. And, it comes with so much negativity and the way the fans go crazy, they attack your character. What's your thoughts on that? I know you had some big battles before.
In a battle in hip hop, ain't no holds barred. No holds barred. Everything go. That's if you keeping it hip hop. Right now, things spilling to the street, so I agree with Jay. I'm from that cloth too. No women, no children allowed. But in hip hop, man, ain't no holds barred. Everything go.
Yeah, I see that. Like I see it more with dudes doing the face-to-face battles and going hard like that. They'll say some wild shit about each other.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I don't think I'll last around. I couldn't do that. Yeah, they say some.
You get busy.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Yeah, I don't know if I could hold my composure to stand there. You know what I mean? You down there smelling a nigga breath while he talking shit about your mom and your kids and your wife and what he'll do and I don't know if I could do that. I salute to everybody who do that. Everybody that's in the battle realm that do their thing, the URL, man, y'all got some balls on y'all, man. I salute y'all. I tilt my hat to all of them. It's very entertaining. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Easy, the block captain.
But it feels different when people put it on a record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Am I? You know what I'm saying? It seems like, when Kendrick called Drake a pedophile, it's you know what I'm saying? For some reason, him putting it on a record just seemed a little different than when dudes do it in face to face.
I don't know. It is what it is. Get back at him.
Say something worse.
Yeah, ain't no holds barred, man. I know me, I could say some disrespectful shit. So, it is what it is. Like I said, in the battle, ain't no holds barred. And if you lying, that's something different. Yeah, that's something different.
I hear that. Well, overall, what did you think of Jay-Z's interview? He also addressed people kind of coming at him about the capitalism thing, and there was a lot of good topics in there.
To tell the truth, I only seen like clips. I haven't sat and actually watched the whole interview all the way through. So I only seen certain clips. The clips that I did see is a good interview. I want to be able to sit down and just watch it all the way through.
Okay. Now, in this interview, he says, he regretted his battle with Nas, and that Nas is a nice guy. Going back when you guys were going through that,
yeah,
did you ever think that him and Jay would get to a spot where he would be like saying these things about Nas?
Nah, because it was on. It was on when that Jay-Z and Nas battle was on. Yeah, it was on. I was frontlining for The Rock on that. That was on. It's good to see them in the space where they in now. It's good for hip hop. I think people should mirror that. That's, who go through it on wax, and since then they done built together, did things together, businesses and all that. So it's a good thing.
How did you first hear about the Nas battle? Or how did you first find out that it was on?
Shit, like everybody else, tuning in, listening to the radio. And that joint, it came on the radio and was like, oh shit. I think I was on my way home. And I was listening to the radio and it dropped. I did a U-turn and went straight to New York to Baseline Studio. Yo, what we doing?
You talking about Ether? Ether.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and you got because Jay recorded the response to that, Super Ugly. Like, was it like that day or like the next day?
No, I think it was like a day or two later. I was in the studio when Jay recorded that.
Oh, you was with him?
Yeah.
Okay. What was you thinking? Like, what was that studio session like?
Like any other session with Jay, and I think it was me, Jay, Irv Gotti was in there. I think Irv bought the beat. Irv Gotti was in there. It was a few people in there. I think my man, my homie Paco was there. It's kind of strange because after that, I think Nas signed with Irv Got Murder Inc., so I ain't understand that. Yeah, that was kind of weird to me.
Jay kind of kicked it off with Takeover. You know, did you think that Takeover was going to turn into a big thing?
Nah, I really never paid no attention to it. I never knew they had prior beef before that. I never really understood it. Like, I think, to me, I was like a fan just came out of nowhere for me, but I didn't know they was throwing shots, like subliminals, until like years later after people was breaking down the beef. Then they was saying Nas threw a shot at Jay on this record and Jay came back at Nas. So I never knew that.
Now all this goes down, and I know, you know, you said you're frontlining for it, you know, everything, man. I mean, I remember this battle was huge at the time, man. I remember when this was going down.
Yeah.
It was all anybody could talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest battle ever still, I don't know, this Drake and Kendrick thing was pretty big. Well, I mean, Kendrick made it to the Super Bowl with the diss song, so.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. How often were you recording? Is there any diss records that didn't make it out?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay.
There's a few that didn't make it out.
Because I only really remember Jay going at Nas. I didn't remember you going too hard at Nas during the time.
Yeah, you weren't listening.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't listening.
I might have missed it. I'm over here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
We didn't always get the mixtapes, bro. It wasn't the internet.
Yeah.
You know, so there is stuff, underground stuff that I missed, man. That we just didn't get it, or I didn't know where to get it at the time.
Yeah, it was a couple freestyles. Me and the Prop. Like I said, it was Rockefeller Soldiers. You got beef with Jay, you got beef with everybody.
Okay.
At least I know with me, I wasn't having it.
When did you notice that, like, things were slowing down with the beef, or things were starting to change where it wasn't as serious?
I don't really know. Because I had a lot of drama going on in my life at the time, so I really wasn't paying attention to it.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.